I can't take this seriously. Welcome to another episode of Oh God Chat After Dark. Except this time it's in the 21st century. See, I have a camera now for my at-home meetings, and I figured what better way to read another hot and steamy edition from two-time Hugo Award finalist Chuck Tingle, Dr. Chuck Tingle, than to incorporate video. And you get a good view of my quarantine neck beard too. I have kind of been shaving it, like you can see, kind of. I can't kind of try to keep some kind of line down on the neck here, where that way it's not fully growing down. I don't need a fedora yet, but we'll get there soon. Anyway, yeah, I got me down here, him up here, the good doctor Chuck Tingle. The Butt Files, the case of Bigfoot's wiener, from two-time Hugo Award finalist. The Butt Files, the case of Bigfoot's wiener by Chuck Tingle. Read to you by Flat Mars Theory, a.k.a. Lick the Taint, a.k.a. me. You'd think joining the FBI would bring about some tiny shred of respect from the people around you, and for most folks, that's exactly the case. Unfortunately, when your specific department is located in the Bureau's basement, locked away in a cluttered mess of files and folders, you start to get a different kind of reputation. It didn't take long for the name Spooky Mully to start getting tossed around in the halls, but at the end of the day, I didn't join the FBI to make friends. I joined to find the truth. My partner, Skolder, and me are the only two agents assigned to the Butt Files, a collection of mysterious cases that have been specifically deemed too arousing for the rest of the Bureau. These files are paranormal in nature, usually featuring a butt or wiener involved in circumstances that defy scientific explanation. This stuff is gripping. I'm kicked back in my chair, tossing sharpened pencils into the ceiling as I lounge behind my cluttered desk when Skolder comes walking through the doorway of our small basement office. Television. What is it? I question mysteriously. Skolder stops in his tracks, a handsome redhead who's my complete opposite. Skeptical and wise, but unwilling to open himself up to the possibilities of the paranormal. He's also the only man in this whole damn place that I actually trust. We've been through a lot together, and it's brought us closer than I ever would have imagined possible. Well, are you talking about the actual I gotta give him a voice. Well, are you... that's one I already did. Well, are you talking about the actual TV set, or the cable signal that comes out of your wall? Skolder asks me for clarity, because I can explain either of them to you. What a smartass. I roll my eyes, always with the explanations. There doesn't have to be a scientific answer for everything. Skolder nods. No, but in this case, we know exactly how television works. It's not unexplained. Are you trying to tell me that this is a butt file? He needs to be like from New York or something. But in this case, we know exactly how television works. It's not unexplained. Are you trying to tell me this is a butt file? I sit up straight in my desk and extend a manila folder towards Skolder, who takes it, opens it up, and begins to read. He's slowly scanning through my documents, trying to understand the cascade of information that I've painstakingly prepared. These are just photographs of an old television set, Skolder finally tells me. I don't get it, Molly. Not just any television set, I offer. One that doesn't work. Skolder narrows his eyes. Is it turned off? One would think, I reply, standing up from my desk and walking around it to stand next to Skolder. I point at the knob on the front of the television set, which is clearly turned to the on position. Look here, though. Huh, my skeptical partner says, clearly a little impressed. That is strange. Now get this, I continue. I called the cable company myself, and apparently they're still sending signal to this house. Really? Skolder questions. But Molly, that's scientifically impossible. I don't see how this could be happening. Well, we're going to have to go find out for ourselves, I tell my partner, pulling 2 plane tickets from my coat pocket. Pack your jacket, because we're headed to the woods. Where? Skulder continues curiously. The Pacific Northwest, I explain. The home this TV belongs to is way out in the forest. A lone Bigfoot lives there. We've talked on the phone a few times, and he's just as curious about his TV as we are. Something tells me this Bigfoot might know more than he's letting on, Skulder murmurs, furrowing his brow. There's plenty of forest in Virginia where the FBI headquarters is located, but here in Washington state, the trees are something else entirely. The woods around us are thick and overwhelming, but also beautiful in a way that's undeniable. Looking up into the green canopy above creates a sense of awe and wonder, as though just existing under the shade of these wooden giants is something worth celebrating. This guy's a regular Tolkien. Right over there, Skulder offers, pointing up a long dirt drive that veers off into the lush green forest. I slow the car down and make my turn, slowly cruising up into a rugged driveway that jostles our vehicle this way and that. Eventually, we arrive at a beautiful 2-story home, immaculately designed in a way that's both elegant and old school. Whoever lives out here is making quite a bit of cash. We park the car and climb out, surveying our surroundings. Suddenly, the front door of the home before us opens up and a massive Bigfoot steps out, smiling and waving. "Hey there! How was the trip?" the Bigfoot calls over. Good, I tell him. Little hard to find the place. You're pretty far out here. Not all of us big feet are happy about migrating to the cities, he explains. Some of us like to live on the fringe still. Reminds us of the good old days. Fair enough, I tell him, approaching the front porch now with Skulder by my side. This is my partner, Skulder, I offer, and then turn. Skulder? This is Mr. Lerp Shivens. It's nice to meet you, Skulder says, stepping forward and giving Mr. Lerp a firm handshake. We hear you've got a rather mysterious television set on your hands. The Bigfoot nods, a deep sincerity in his eyes. Yes, sir. I've never seen anything like it. Mind if we take a look? I interject. Lerp nods and then holds open the front door, waving us inside. The second that Skulder and I enter, I'm hit with a strange sense of foreboding. The interior of the house is absolutely gorgeous, clean and well-maintained, but there's an unspoken, unnatural tension in the air that seems to hang over everything. I can't quite put my finger on it, but it's definitely there. The TV's over here in the living room, the handsome Bigfoot offers, leading the way. When I finally see the mysterious appliance, a second wave of this powerful, supernatural force washes over me. I walk over to the television and kneel down before it, inspecting every inch of the strange box that I've become so acquainted with through photograph. It's truly amazing finally getting to see this thing in person, to feel its presence up close. Pause for the cause. Wow. Incredible, I gush. Skulder walks around to the back of the TV, then bends down and picks something up off the ground. It's not plugged in. Wait, hold on. This says, it's not plugged in, Skulder informs me, holding the plug in her hand. This whole time I thought Skulder was a dude. It's not plugged in, Skulder informs me, holding the plug in her hand. I stare at it, noticing now that the plug is unlike anything I've ever seen. Instead of the two metallic prongs I'm accustomed to, this cord ends when it reaches a large metallic cylinder about 2 inches wide and 7 inches long. I'm starting to pick up where this is going. Oh yeah, my bad, the Bigfoot says. This is a newer model. You don't plug it into the wall. The handsome Sasquatch walks over and takes the plug, then pulls down his pants. He reaches back behind himself and then slowly, carefully, pushes the metallic cylinder up into his asshole. Once the plug is full, He reaches back behind himself and then slowly, carefully, pushes the metallic cylinder. Sorry. He reaches back behind himself He reaches back behind himself and then slowly, carefully, pushes the metallic... Come on! I was so close. I was going to get it that time. I got to start from the top. Whew. The handsome Sasquatch walks over and takes the plug, then pulls down his pants. He reaches back behind himself and then slowly, carefully, pushes the metallic cylinder up into his asshole. Once the plug is fully inserted, the Bigfoot... Fuck! I was so... Jesus Christ. This shit goes from 0 to 2,000 real quick. Fuck. Okay. He reaches back behind himself and then slowly, carefully pushes the metallic cylinder up into his asshole. I've got this part. Once the plug is fully inserted, the Bigfoot starts to beat himself off, moaning quietly as he works his massive hairy fist across the length of his cock. Finally, the handsome Bigfoot gives up. See? He says. Nothing. I let out a long sigh and then stand. Something strange is definitely going on here. We're going to need to stay and monitor this television set. Well, I've got guest rooms upstairs if you'd like to sleep here, offers Lerp. That would be wonderful, I tell him. I wake with a start, sitting up in bed as the cool, blue moonlight streams in through the window and washes across my face. My night has been restless so far, the tension of this house simply too much for me to bear as I toss and turn. At long last, I'm finally drifted off, but something has awakened me. My eyes drift across the darkness of the guest room, eventually coming to rest on the smooth glass of the nearby window. There, crafted in white masking tape, a beautiful... What the fuck? My eyes drift across the darkness of the guest room, eventually coming to rest on the smooth glass of the nearby window. There, crafted in white masking tape, a beautiful round butt has been artistically rendered on the outside of the pane. I stand up, creeping over to the window, and then peering out into the yard. At first, I don't see anything unusual, but as my eyes continue to scan the dimly lit scene, they eventually come to rest on a dark shape in a long black trench coat, standing on the edge of the tree line. I make eye contact with the figure. Hold on. I make eye contact with the figure. I tried to remember it, but I couldn't. I make eye contact with the figure, and he nods at me. Deep butt, I murmur under my breath, immediately recognizing my longtime informant. I quickly pull on my clothes and then creep out of the darkened house, making my way across the yard until eventually I find myself face to face with Deep Butt. The figure removes his wide-brimmed hat, revealing the handsome face of a gorgeous T-Rex. Molly, the dinosaur whispers, you're on the right track. This is an important case, much more important than you realize. I know, I tell him, but I'm coming up blank. I need help with this one, Deep Butt. That's why I'm here, continues the handsome dinosaur. This case has implications that reach deep into the layers of reality. Using the technology that powers this television set, we could move from timeline to timeline at will. That information doesn't help me get the TV working, though, I counter. The T-Rex hesitates for a moment, giving a deep weight to his voice now. I'm sure you can get to the bottom of it, Deep Butt tells me. I don't understand, I counter, detecting a hidden meaning but not quite able to decipher it. I'm sure you can get to the bottom of it, Deep Butt repeats. Suddenly, the handsome dinosaur glances up over my shoulder towards the house. I turn my head to see that the living room light has come on. When I turn back around to face Deep Butt, he's vanished without a trace, disappearing into the deep, dark forest. I'm not even halfway done. The dinosaur's words still echoing through my head, I stroll back towards the house. There's something right in front of me, an idea just hanging in the air and waiting for me to reach out and grab it. But the fully connected picture remains elusive. I open up the front door and head inside, stopping in my tracks when I find Lerp waiting for me. He's sitting on the living room couch, his eyes full of stress and sorrow as they nearly bubble over with salty Sasquatch tears. "What is it?" I ask the Bigfoot. "I don't know what's wrong with me," Lerp stammers. "Of all the big feet in the world, why do I have to be the one with the TV set that won't turn on?" "It's a mystery," I tell him bluntly. "We don't know, but we're working on it." "I just feel like I'm not good enough," Lerp continues. "Like my own butthole isn't even good enough to power a damn TV set. How sad is that?" Suddenly, a light bulb turns on inside my head. I stand in complete shock, amazed that I hadn't seen what Deep Butt was talking about sooner. If Lerp can't get to the bottom of this, then maybe I can. Maybe we both can, together. "After you put the plug up your ass, have you ever actually had sex with someone?" I suddenly blurt. "Or do you just jerk off?" "Jerk off," the handsome Bigfoot informs me, sending a jolt of adrenaline down my spine. Finally, we're on to something. No stitches. God damn. I'm like tweaking. "I have an idea," I inform Lerp. I walk over to the television set and take a cord in my hand, then stroll back over to the handsome Bigfoot and give it to him. "Put it up your ass," I say. Lerp gladly follows my instructions, reaching back behind him and pushing the massive metal plug into his butthole. He lets out a soft moan, his eyes shut tight until the entire plug has been fully inserted. Now nothing more than a long, black power cable hangs out from his rear, snaking down and coiling across the carpet below until it eventually reached the TV set from which it came. The Bigfoot reaches his hands down, grabbing his enormous cock, but I stop him. "Wait!" I cry, reaching out and taking a hold of the handsome Bigfoot's rod myself. "Let me help you with that." I slowly begin to pump my hand up and down across Lerp's length, taking my time with his enormous shaft. Yeah, I kind of forgot this was a Bigfoot. This guy's probably got like a 14-inch cock. I slowly drop down to the ground before him until eventually I'm on my knees, staring upward. With my other hand, I reach out and begin to cradle the Bigfoot's balls, working him skillfully as he continues to groan with pleasure. My parents would be so proud. Out of the corner of my eye, I notice something happening with the television set. The once completely vacant screen now flickering ever so slightly. Tiny bursts of static make their way across the frame. Nothing too substantial, but enough to tell me that I'm on the right track. Strangely, however, solving this case isn't the only thing on my mind right now. While getting to the bottom of this mystery had once been my only motivation, I can't help but find myself incredibly attracted to this muscular Bigfoot as he stands over me. The creature is absolutely toned to perfection, massive and imposing, but also warm and welcome. "You're so fucking sexy," I gush, the words tumbling out of my lips before I can stop them. "Likewise," Lerp tells me with a playful smile. That was the wrong voice. Whatever. Suddenly overwhelmed with arousal, I open my mouth wide and take the Bigfoot's giant shaft between my lips. I bob my head up and down across his length, slowly at first, and then gaining speed along with the subtle movements of Lerp's hips. Eventually, I'm slamming my face down into the Bigfoot's rod with frantic enthusiasm, belligerently servicing him with everything that I've got. In a moment of erotic inspiration, I push my head down as far as I can, retching slightly as the head of Lerp's massive cock comes up against the limits of my gag reflex. I pull back and release Lerp from my mouth, struggling to collect myself. "One more try," I offer. "I've got this." "I know you do," the handsome Bigfoot tells me. I open wide and try again, taking Lerp's shaft into my neck once more. In a second deep throat attempt, the Sasquatch dick slides further and further down into me, only this time, I somehow manage to relax, allowing him passage into my depths. The next thing I know, I found my face pressed up hard against the creature's muscular abs, his rod completely consumed. The handsome Bigfoot holds me here for as long as I can take, his large hands planted firmly against the back of my hand. I think he meant to say head. He clearly enjoys taking control, and I'm happy to give it to him. Eventually, however, I run out of air and am forced to pull back, coming up in a sputtering mess as saliva hangs glistening from my wet lips. I gaze up at Lerp with a fire in my eyes, and this book is fucking half over. We're like at the halfway point right now. We're 50% done. The amount that we've already heard, there's double that amount. There's the same amount. Again. And I've been recording for 20 minutes. All right. Eventually, however, I run out of air and am forced to pull back, coming up in a sputtering mess as saliva hangs glistening from my wet lips. I gaze up at Lerp with a fire in my eyes, completely belligerent with lust for this incredible Bigfoot. Fuck me, I command. I need you inside of this tight asshole. I stand abruptly and march over to the television set, which is now flickering spastically with erotic power, stripping off my clothes as I go. Once I'm down to absolutely nothing, I lean myself over the TV and pop my ass out towards Lerp, wiggling it playfully from side to side, and then reaching back with one hand to give my cheek a loud slap. What are you waiting for, Aiku? Get over here and investigate this butt. Lerp does as he's told, saddling into position behind me and aligning his massive Bigfoot cock with the tightly puckered rim of my ass. Instead of pushing forward, however, Lerp hesitates, teasing me with his enormous dick. Do it! I cry out. I need to be fucked. The truth is in my butthole, and there's only one way to get it out of there. Lerp moves the head of his dick forward a bit and then pulls back once more, sending a tremor of arousal throughout my body. This handsome Bigfoot is taking control, dominating the situation in a way that makes me supernaturally ache. My entire body is trembling, quaking for his touch. Please, I beg, fuck me, Lerp. Suddenly, the majestic Sasquatch gives in to my pleading, thrusting forward in a firm, confident swoop. Vroom. I let out a startled yelp, not entirely prepared to take the Bigfoot's enormous size. While I had had a reasonable time maneuvering his rod between my lips, taking him within my asshole is another story entirely. His thickness is out of this world, stretching my anal passageway to its absolute limits. Excuse me. I feel like I need a cigarette. I don't even smoke. Oh my God, you're so fucking big, I groan, my eyes rolling back into my head as I brace myself. I lost my place when I did that. I groan, my eyes rolling back in my head as I brace myself against the TV below. Lerp begins to slowly pump in and out of me, taking his time as my body struggles to adjust to his incredible shaft. To be perfectly honest, I'm not entirely sure I can take it. My body is flooded with sensations of discomfort and confusion, but I do my best to press onward to relax my sphincter and consume Lerp's manhood. I feel like it should be Squatchhood. You can do this, I say to myself under... You can do this, I say to myself under my breath. You've had harder cases than this before. Just focus. Mully! A familiar voice suddenly shouts from behind me. I glance over my shoulder to see my partner, Skolder, standing behind us. A look of pride on his face. Okay, Skolder has changed fucking genders now. That's cool. I knew it. I knew Skolder was a dude. You've got this, Mully, the man announces, egging me on. I believe in you. I believe in you too, the Bigfoot planted firmly within my asshole adds, piling on the encouragement. Mully pulls out his cock and starts beating himself off, watching the scene unfold with rapt, lustful enthusiasm. Suddenly, another sharp pang of discomfort surges through me, drawing my attention back to the matter at hand. If I'm going to take a cock this big and crack the case, then I'm going to need to focus. I close my eyes, doing my best to relax, and allow Lerp's Bigfoot dick to spread me open. Fortunately, the handsome Sasquatch is a fantastic lover, taking his time with me and allowing my body to adjust to his mammoth size. Lerp starts deep but slow, gradually speeding up until he finds a confident rhythm. Brings a tear to your eye. Amazingly, by the time the Bigfoot hits his stride, all the pain has drifted away, replaced instead by a pleasant and powerful ache. The pit of my stomach begins filling with warmth, the pleasant sensation pulsing out across my body in waves. Suddenly, the television below us turns on fully, displaying a rerun of the classic television sitcom, The Friend. "It's working!" Oh, that's not the Bigfoot. "It's working!" Skulder calls out from behind us. This gives Lerp the final push that he needs, and before I know it, the Bigfoot is hammering away at my asshole with everything he's got. The sensation is incredible. Lerp's cock angled just the right way so that it massages my prostate deep within. "Fuck me, fuck me, fuck me," I begin to scream, repeating the mantra over and over again in a blissed-out trance. I reach down between my legs and start beating myself off, frantically stroking my cock in time with a hammering dick up my backside. The pleasant sensations continue to build within me, a massive orgasmic wave that rises higher and higher, yet refuses to crest. I'm shaking hard, my entire body feeling as though it's about to explode. Suddenly it does. The tension within me releasing as I'm overwhelmed with glorious orgasmic pleasure. I throw my head back and let out a passionate howl as jizz erects hard for the head of my rod. Below, my cum blasts out across the screen of the humming television set, painting the appliance with a beautiful, pearly splatter. Apparently, Lerp is on a similar timeline, because the next thing I know, he's driving deep into my asshole, holding tight and ejecting a massive payload of cum. The jizz continues to pulse out within me, filling me up until there's just no room left, and the semen comes spilling from the edges of my tightly packed ass. Behind us, Agent Molly lets out an orgasmic cry, blowing his load onto the living room carpet below with the help of his own hand. Utterly exhausted, Lerp pulls out of my butthole and then staggers away, collapsing down onto the nearby couch. "That was incredible," I tell him, "and look, TV's working." I step back and take a look at the flickering television before me, watching the characters of The Friend interact through my jizz as it slowly drips down the screen. Suddenly, the legs that support this appliance push outward, propelling the screen upward to the height of an average human being. The stand begins to unfold itself, adjusting robotically until it becomes a full-on humanoid figure with a massive screen for a head. What the fuck? "Greetings, Earthlings," comes a mysterious voice from within the box, the image quickly changing to that of a gray alien face with huge black eyes that stare out at us like dark pools. "Hello," I stammer in surprise. "I've been stranded here for a very long time," the TV continues. "According to my internal clock, I have been powered down for over 1,027 days. "Where are you from?" I question in utter shock. "The outer rim of your galaxy," the alien television set continues. "We were sent here to observe your species to determine if you are more prone to love or hate. Hateful species will be terminated, while species of a loving nature will be helped with their ascent to the stars." I swallow hard. Me too. Well, where do we stand? The mechanical television-faced alien breathes deep. "It's very close, to be honest, but after seeing the way that you and Lerp worked together to bring me back and power me up, I know that love is real here on Earth." A wave of relief washes over me. "Thank you." "No, thank you," the alien counters. "If it wasn't for your help, I might have been powered down for centuries, maybe even forever." He says he was powered down for more than a century. 1,027 days. The living television set reaches back into its own head, rattling around for a moment before pulling forth a small black box. The alien being hands the tiny rectangle over to me. "What's this?" I ask, inspecting the device. There's a large red button on the side of it. while every other surface is completely blank. This is the big red button, the strange being explains. It is the most powerful technological achievement in our entire universe and in the next. It has the power to take you through timelines, to move deeper into the Tingleverse at will. The Tingleverse? I quested. Fuck yeah. The living television set nods its flickering head. We exist on one layer of the Tingleverse, but there are many others. In fact, there are infinite layers. At the top, there's the layer of the reader, otherwise known as reality. We're not real? I interject. Kind of real, the TV explains. We're characters in a short story, so in that sense, we exist. But once the story ends, we'll blink out. Molly steps forward to interject. This has absolutely no basis in science. It doesn't have to, continues the alien. Each layer has its own set of rules. Believe it or not, on other timelines, you're a woman, the TV tells Molly. Really? I question, fascinated. The alien nods. And on some of these layers of reality, the butt files don't exist. Then what do we investigate? I ask. The alien shakes his head. No time to dwell on trivial things like that. This story is about to end. But, I stammer, I don't want to blink out and disappear. I want to be real. Push the button then, the alien instructs. See what happens. Knowing that there are only a few sentences left, I smash the big red button with the palm of my hand. Almost immediately, the world around me begins to break apart, transforming into a brand new arrangement of letters, words, and paragraphs. I can feel my body shifting, transforming into a handsome Bigfoot sommelier. I take my position, waiting for the next story to begin. That was a solid way to end this book. I absolutely see why Dr. Chuck Tingle has been nominated for the Hugo Award. That is some good science fiction. He's created his own universe, the Tingleverse, and is slowly but surely we will get the Chuck Tingle cinematic universe where his stories are like crossing over and teaming up and taking on whatever. That was pretty good. If you're interested, okay. So I was saying that this is like not even half over, but that was just because there's a ton of pages afterwards that lists every single one of his other books. And so that there's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pages of single-spaced book titles that he's written, Dr. Chuck Tingle, and they're separated into dinosaur tinglers, unicorn tinglers, Bigfoot tinglers, living object tinglers. That's a lot of living objects. Self-help, novels, and other. And then there's an about section. So I'll read that and give the author his credit. About Dr. Tingle. This guy's so awesome. Dr. Chuck Tingle is a Hugo-nominated erotic author and Taekwondo grandmaster, almost black belt, from Billings, Montana. After receiving his PhD at DeVry University in holistic massage, Chuck found himself fascinated by all things sensual, leading to his creation of The Tingler, a story so blissfully erotic that it cannot be experienced without eliciting a sharp tingle down the spine. I can attest, this is correct. Chuck's hobbies include backpacking, checkers, and sport. If you would like to know more about Dr. Tingle, you may visit his website or write to him at chuckthetingler@gmail.com. And you can also sign up for his mailing list. That was a solid waste of 35 minutes of my life, and actually, that's a lie. That was not a waste of time. That was worth it. Can I read these other books here? Like Hunter Dentist, Pounded in the Butt by Cecil the Handsome Unicorn? I have to buy it. It's only $2.99. Ugh. Okay. When did this come out? July 31st, 2015. This guy's been writing like a book a month for the last 15 years. Yeah, that was the Butt Files, the case of Bigfoot's wiener. We got a little bit of a taste of the Tingleverse in that one. Eventually, I'm sure there's going to be some Tingle crossover, some Bigfoot, T-Rex. Well, I mean, even that, you had the T-Rex informant, but like characters from other, like the other book, the Tide Pod one that I already read, we'll get like Tide Pod, Bigfoot crossovers. Or something. I'd say that was a solid read. I'd give it like 15 out of 10 if I had to be objective and honest. That's been another episode, I guess. Thanks for listening and watching. Tingle on.